I'll come to the Aam Aadmi Party. With the Aam Aadmi Party, it's a part of the India Alliance. It's not an individual alliance. And that I understand. I also will disagree with the Congress being in an alliance with the Aam Aadmi Party in Punjab. There is no need to do it. I will also think that the Congress should go after the Aam Aadmi Party on every single issue, without doubt. That is hardcore politics. But when somebody who's an activist now becomes sort of an advisor, but was the cause of you falling in the first place and still cannot give the right advice. For example, I saw his interview with you, Mr. Yadav. He said Congress lost Chhattisgarh because the leaders did not believe in the OBC issue. No, Congress lost it particularly because they brought up the OBC issue in Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh. And I've had this conversation.
So you think the caste census has been a bad idea?
In Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh, not overall.
But you can't demand a national caste census and then localize it and apply it selectively to states.
Exactly. So you don't bring it up in a state election. You can't go about in a state election saying caste census, caste census. That was not the issue of Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. You not only turned off the voters who were voting for you, you also forgot that in Madhya Pradesh, Shivraj Singh Chauhan ji and before him, Babulal Gaur ji and Uma Bharti ji were OBC. In Chhattisgarh was a tribal state. So it's horses for courses. Of course, the Prime Minister will say one thing. For example, because we're shooting this in 370s, when the Prime Minister say, oh, 370 must go. He won't talk about 371, etc. He won't go to Nagaland and Arunachal and talk about 371. You don't go there and say, no. He won't go to Nagaland and say, one nation, one law. He won't do it. That's political. Though the BJP doesn't have much stakes in the Northeast, except Assam, he won't do it. So why would you go to Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh and say, we must do the OBC census? It wasn't a state government issue in any case. It was a central government issue. It was a union government issue. You could have said it. Look, when we come, we will do this. We will make sure everyone gets justice.
But on the contrary, the argument of the caste census is so-called "Jitni abadi utna hak," which I think is a very I think it's a very problematic slogan, by the way. But if that is the demand, then the suggestion is that the OBC community deserves more than it's got. Why would that create a boomerang impact? I thought Yogendra Yadav was saying that this did not find resonance as an issue on the ground.
So again, जिसकी जितनी हिस्सेदारी जिसकी जितनी संख्या भारी उसकी उतनी हिस्सेदारी. I think it's fair in principle that you have proportional representation based on merit. So no one suggesting any one of our fellow citizens who come from a community who are not meritorious, who are meritorious don't get that post. And that is a serious problem in our country. We don't have enough people in the top positions who are from positions that have been traditionally not forward caste as considered. So we must look at making sure that they get the fruits of that or the share of that pie as well. And that is our duty as a nation. We should not discriminate on a meritorious position. So if everyone's a professor, we must have equal chancellors. Why should somebody from a community be underrepresented? That is a separate argument. The problem is when you go about saying that in a state election, in a state where people traditionally are already fighting for other issues, you're diverting from the issue when there already is OBC representation. That became the problem in Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh.
And I think the real wake-up
call was OBC.
Huh?
Bhupesh Baghel was OBC in Chhattisgarh. Now you're saying you want OBC reservation because you haven't got your rights. So then I as a voter, even if I'm OBC, will ask, I have an OBC chief minister. Why have I not got my rights? Are you going to get the vote or no? So I think the strategy has to be correct. If you were to dissect this election, so I don't like the word upper caste. I'm using it only because it's the term to use, or forward caste. I don't like these terms. I just think we're all human beings. But a lot of so-called upper caste votes that were coming to the Congress, which are traditional Congress votes in Madhya Pradesh, went away from the Congress.
Do you believe Adani is the Rafale of this election?
Adani is not an issue.
I meant that in 2019, Rahul Gandhi went big with Rafale. It did not find resonance with voters. This time, he is singularly fixated on this Adani issue, as are some of his allies. It doesn't seem to be an electoral issue. I'm not saying there aren't genuine questions to raise,
There are very genuine questions to raise. I think, and I must put a caveat out. I do know some of the Adanis decently. I think there are genuine questions to be raised, to be answered by the Adanis. I don't think it's an election issue. I don't think the people.
So is it the Rafale of this issue, election? Or could it be, if it becomes a centerpiece of the opposition campaign going into 2024, it will be the Rafale of this election?
It would fall down. It would fall flat simply because the people of India are looking for other solutions. Attacking Adani is not the question right now, foremost in the people's minds. What the Congress should do and the India Alliance should do is first get out of the bureaucratic way, remove this common minimum program that they want to make now under 19th or whatever, come up with a vision document. Tell the people of this country what you will give them versus what the BJP is given in 10 years. Can we do that? Can we have a vision document? Can we talk about Web 3.0, AI, how we'll create jobs, new generation jobs, how we'll create English schools, how we'll allow for more diversity? Talk about your issues.
Why have you been, let's come to the second individual that you have been very critical of, Praveen Chakrabarti.
So, even with these data people, you see, data can be read the way you want it. You can read that with 40% vote share, we've kept our vote share and therefore we're doing brilliantly. Or you can ask yourself, look, in 2018, we got more than 40%, we got no Lok Sabha seats. With 40% now in Madhya Pradesh, we're in trouble in Lok Sabha. Data is how you choose to interpret it. My problem with data analysis is when data is tailor-made to make you believe that you're winning. So I'll tell you this story, which is true. I didn't know what Black Swan meant, what a Black Swan event meant, until I heard the gentleman speak about it. The gentleman said that, look, Modi ji winning in 2014 is a Black Swan event. Ye dobara nahi hoga. It's not possible. Lo behold, 2019, the Black Swan turned white and Modi ji became Prime Minister. And I'm saying this in a no offensive way, so there's no racial slur here. So Modi ji became Prime Minister. You see, you have to again live in a parallel universe to not understand the undercurrents based on data that you cherry pick and say, oh, Modi won't become, Modi is over. And a lot of the people in the Congress at that time got very upset with me because when this thinking Modi ji won't become Prime Minister again, I didn't care. My question was, does Rahul ji become Prime Minister? Because I want to be an MP. Rahul ji Prime Minister banega to main MP banuga na, PM banega to main MP banuga. Tabhi to chunav hoga na. और मोदी जी नहीं बने तो गडकरी जी बनेंगे, गडकरी जी नहीं बने राजनाथ सिंह जी, मुझे उससे क्या लेना देना? वी आर सेलिब्रेटिंग कि उनके घर में बिरयानी नहीं बनी. यार हमें दाल चावल खाने को नहीं है, हम उनके घर में बिरयानी नहीं बनी उसके सेलिब्रेशन करें. What is going on? And I'm passionately a supporter of Rahul. Can Rahul Gandhi make it? Can Congress make it? That's my idea.